In this video, I want to share with you 7 clothing items that I personally think that you'll always regret buying. I did a video last week on items that you will never regret buying. You can go check that out later if you would like. I've personally been through so much trial and error with my closet over the years, and I know the experience of having a ton of clothes and liking exactly none of them. And I've also had the experience of having far fewer clothes, but being able to create tons of outfits that I actually really love. So these are clothing items that I personally think you will always regret, at least from my experience. I think you're gonna end up regretting an item that you buy just for the label. And I feel like most of you who watch my channel don't go and buy something just because it says Gucci or whatever. But it's very easy to get almost duped into believing that these brands that have the big labels on them are the best. And so you're thinking, oh, if I want the best handbag, I need to get a Gucci or a Louis Vuitton or Coach or something. And that's not really true. Like, there are a lot of handbag companies that are just as beautiful and well made and great, maybe even better than a lot of these name brand items, but are far less expensive. Like, you really are paying for that label. Now, there's another scenario, which I think is the most common one, is that you start working when you're like 20 or something and you can't really afford these things, and then you get older and you make more money, and then you're like, I can finally afford a Chanel bag, so I'm gonna go buy the Chanel bag. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Wonderful. But there is a limit where I think if you start to only buy things because they have a designer label, or you will only buy things if they have a designer label, I'll bet you that at some point in your life in the future, you're gonna look back and be like, why did I spend all that money on all those designer bags? I don't want anyone to misinterpret this saying that I'm judging anyone for having 18 different designer handbags or anything like that, to each his own. Now, I have a Bottega bag that I adore. I mean, I adore it, okay? It took me a long time to decide on this purchase. Now, I'm not against designer items at all. I'm not saying that. I have designer items, but I would say that if you're only buying something because of the name, you might end up eventually regretting it. Clothing we buy because it's on sale, but we're gonna go a little bit deeper than that. I think when we go shopping, not only is our goal to find something that's really cute and makes us feel good, looks beautiful on us, but it's also kind of a rush when we can find something on sale, is it not? When I lived in New York City in my 20s, I loved going to the Bloomingdale's clearance sale. I loved finding a good sample sale. And I bought so many items, I tell you, so many items that were like 90% off. I mean, crazy good deals. But they weren't items that I really needed or actually really, truly loved. Maybe didn't fit me quite right, but they were just such a good deal. I mean, it just felt like, well, it's just stupid if I don't buy these because they're such a good deal. But it was stupid if I buy those, because what happened is most of those items just sat in my closet because it made me uncomfortable when I wore them, or they weren't really quite what I wanted. But you know, they were just such a good deal. So I got a rush when I bought them, and that was wonderful. And then they just sat in my closet and caused a bunch of clutter in my brain whenever I tried to get dressed. Very unfortunate, and I'm sure I ended up donating them at some point, so it really was a waste of money. There's this motto or saying that I've heard that if you would not pay full price for an item, then you shouldn't even buy it on sale. And for the most part, I think I agree with that, because if you wouldn't actually pay full price for it, I mean, assuming it's not like millions of dollars, but if you wouldn't pay full price for it, you're probably buying it because it's on sale, not because it's filling a gap that you have in your closet or something that you've always wanted, or you know, something that you're really gonna love. It's just kind of like a good deal. But it's a good deal that day, and the next day, and the next, and the days after that, it's just gonna be a thing that's in your closet that's taking up space. Now again, I did talk about pieces that have really worked well for me, and some of them I actually did get on sale in this video that you can watch later. But and so I'm not saying, obviously, don't buy anything on sale, but what I am saying is to buy it for the reasons of you love it and it's something you need and it's gonna like change your life or something, not so much because it's a good deal. One thing no one has ever said that they regretted doing, at least in my experience, is getting therapy. That brings us to our sponsor for this video, which is BetterHelp. I do have an offer of 10% off your first month with BetterHelp that I will share with you. I love BetterHelp because it makes therapy very accessible. I think with my generation, we think of therapy that we have to have some huge issue going on in our lives and things are just terrible and they've all turned upside down. And yes, that is a wonderful time to get therapy, like an excellent time. However, there are other things that happen in our our lives, like low-level anxiety. You may just even be at a place where you're not sure which direction to take. And many times an objective licensed therapist can be a huge help in helping you figure out which direction to go. BetterHelp can actually match you to one of 30,000 therapists in your network based on your needs, your preferences, your location, what kind of issues you want to talk about. You fill out a questionnaire and then you get matched with a therapist within 48 hours in most cases. And kind of like a dating website, if you work with this therapist and you're just thinking, I don't think I want to work with this person anymore, I want to try somebody else, you can easily switch on BetterHelp. You can also schedule your therapy sessions via Zoom at a time that is convenient for you. BetterHelp makes therapy super convenient and affordable and easy to start. If you want to join the over 4 million people who have used BetterHelp, click my link in the description box below. I will leave everything you need to know, and let's continue. Now I want to tread carefully with this next item because I'm not telling you to get rid of these items necessarily. I'm just telling you what hasn't worked for me. If you go on a shopping spree and you're like, I need clothes for work, or I need clothes for this, or I'm just new season, new me, and you're just on a shopping spree and you buy lots of printed items, most likely you're going to regret a lot of those in a few months. The latest floral, the abstract print that's on trend, or the fruit prints that are on trend, they're all great and they're very enticing because they're new and different and bright and fun. But in my experience, for myself personally, I get tired of those very fast, and after a couple seasons, I'm just like, I really don't like this anymore, but it's like kind of brand new, like it still looks like new, and I'm just not liking it, but I don't want to get rid of it because it is still new, it still fits, but I'm just like, ugh. And then it just sits in my closet. This is my past self anyway. And it just creates clutter, and then I've got to deal with it. I limit the prints that I buy because most of the time, if I go crazy buying a whole bunch of like florals and abstract prints and all this stuff, I don't like it for that long. Most of my closet now is mostly solids. It's like 90% solids, and I am so much happier that way. I've never been so happy with a closet full of just solid color clothes than I am now. When I stopped buying so many prints and I focused mainly on solids is when I felt like my closet drastically changed for me, and I felt like I had so many more outfits, and I loved my clothing a lot better, and I started to really pay attention more to my accessories than when I had all these busy printed tops and printed dresses. For some reason with a dress, a lot of the prints that I bought, I haven't gotten tired of fast, and so I feel like dresses are maybe a category by themselves, but I'm specifically thinking of printed tops. Prints go in and out of fashion so fast, and not that you should be like, oh, I need to keep up with the latest trend, but we ourselves can start to look at something and just be like, ugh. And so that's, you know, what we're trying to avoid. Now, I do still have a couple of prints in my wardrobe within my clothes, but for the most part, the prints that I will buy right now is like a classic stripe. I've been really into stripes this year. I guess that's about it. I'm really into classic stripes right now. But the big florals, even if I do like it, I'm like, hold up, Anna, let's just wait a minute, because you know how you are. You know you, and you know what's going to happen, and I just kind of hold off on it for a while. Another item or items that you might eventually regret is if you buy too many of the same item. Now, you know how you find that top and you're like, oh my goodness, this style, it's me. I love it. It just works with everything. And you're just like, let me get it in every color. And so you do. And then you love that top so much and you love it in every color. And then whenever you go shopping, you basically just try to buy only that style of top from all kinds of different brands. And you end up with 25 tops that all are about the same style and kind of look the same. And then what happens is what started off as something you found that was like the magical top that you loved is now you're tired of it, and now you're kind of in a style rut, you're tired of your clothes, you're feeling bored with your style, and you're wondering what's going on, why don't I like my clothes? And it's probably because you have the same top in 25 different colors and prints, or you feel like you're Mr. Rogers, how he came in every day and put on a different colored cardigan, but it was basically the same cardigan but a different color every single day. I loved that part for some reason. And you're just like, why don't I like my clothes? So here is a gentle reminder that there are only 7 days in a week. And let's say that you only had 7 tops in your closet. You could still wear a different top every day of the week. If you are lucky enough to find a top like this that you really love, 2 or 3 is plenty. I think it just goes back to being intentional with your purchases and really thinking about how many of those do you actually need. I think you will eventually regret buying heavily into a trend. Now let me explain. Because based on my comment section, a lot of you guys are just very similar to me. Like, I love looking at trends. I think they're fun. Oh my goodness, my stomach just growled. I did not eat lunch. I will eat lunch soon, I promise. In any case, a lot of you guys are similar like me. You love looking at trends, they are fun, but you're not necessarily going to jump on the trend train every time a new one comes up. But what I mean is sometimes we do find a trend that we're like, oh my goodness, I really like that. I'm so happy this is trending because I like it. Now I see it everywhere. And then we can kind of like the shirt, we can go too heavy into it. And eventually we're like, I don't know if I like my clothes anymore. I don't like any of this stuff. I'm over it. It's boring, and we're just in a style rut again. With trends, as I've always said, I love certain trends. Sometimes certain ones I really do not. But I think if you really like one, I think 1 or 2 items in that trend is wonderful. Use those and recreate those and make new outfits. But I think, again, being intentional about what you're buying, 1 or 2 is probably going to tickle your fancy just enough to love that trend without getting tired of it super fast or feeling like your whole closet is just that one trend. You're gonna regret buying a whole bunch of clothes when you go shopping after you lost the 10 pounds. I'm not saying that you're not gonna keep those 10 pounds off. Now I talk about this in this video that I did a little bit, but a lot of times the only time we go shopping is when we've lost that 10 pounds. And maybe we keep it off, maybe we don't, maybe we do sometimes, maybe we don't. If you're like me, sometimes I'm 10 pounds lighter and it's like that way for a while, and then the holidays or something happened like it did, and now I'm 10 pounds heavier. Different things happen. We're women, our weight fluctuates. We're rarely the exact same weight our entire lives. All of that is okay, but if you only have clothes when you are this certain size, and you don't have any clothes for when you are this other size, we just end up wearing sweatpants and like leggings all day, and we don't feel good about how we look. Now, I would not want anyone to interpret this as me saying, buy clothes for this size and have 2 closets and all the clothes and everything. I'm not saying that, but what I am saying is that you do need to have clothes that fit you no matter what your size is. This is a very personal thing, and everyone would have a different solution to this. But the main point that I'm driving home here is that I think you're going to regret those purchases if you go on the shopping spree when you've lost that weight and don't have any other clothes for any other time that your body experiences. Dresses are a great item here. I feel like with dresses, especially if you gain weight here like I do, for the most part, you can easily find a dress that looks good no matter what your size and feel good in it. And so I feel like those are always a great thing to have on hand. And I don't think that you need to necessarily throw away clothes that fit you at one point and don't fit you now. My thing, what I do is if I am at a certain weight and I can't fit into these clothes over here, I will just pack those guys up and put them in a box somewhere else, under my bed, in my upstairs guest bedroom or something, just so they're not right in my closet. And whenever I'm able to fit back into them, I will bring them back out. I don't really like to have the clothes front and center. It doesn't make sense to me. I can't wear them. I don't want to look at them every day. I want to be able to look at what I can wear right now to be able to put an outfit together. I did a video a few weeks ago about, I believe it was 24 items that I personally feel like most of us should get rid of from our closets in 2024. I will link that up here. That's a great video to watch next if you like this subject and you are like in cleansing, decluttering, getting rid of unwanted things phase. That's a good video to go watch next. I will link that up there. Thank you to BetterHelp for sponsoring this video, and I will leave all the information you need in the description, and I will see you next time.